Hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Lightbringer Descent, our four-part miniseries leading up to the Lightbringer campaign in January. So we're on part 3 today, so we're a little over halfway done with the miniseries. And if you haven't checked out the other episodes, they are available on YouTube. I do not have a link to it set up in my chat bot yet, but if you check out my Twitter, it's on there. You can find me on Twitter with the name right below my face here. So there's a YouTube channel that has the whole thing on there. You can catch up if you want. They should still be up in the videos on Twitch as well, but it's a little bit harder to find and navigate there. So YouTube's the better bet. But in this episode, Kara City and New Berlin have already fallen, and we're going to be taking a look at Echo City and some characters there who have already gotten word that that those two cities have fallen. So the first two kind of was a complete surprise what was going on. This one, they're going to have a little bit of warning, so we'll see how that affects things. Before we jump into the thick of it, though, a couple things to note. If you would like to interact with the story as a viewer, you actually can. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner down there on the screen, there's a whole list of things that you can do to the story via donations. Most of those are pretty self-explanatory, but a couple of them are not. One of those being the $3 donation. You can get a Switch for a player or for the Game Master. Unfortunately, that's not a Nintendo, but it is something cool. So you can actually switch an action. So for example, if I, as the Game Master, had a Switch, and let's say that that Lapis here was going to say, I'm going to go punch the bad guy, I can say switch, and Lapis will have to change the action word there. Has to do something else to the bad guy. So that one can be fun and funny oftentimes. And again, you can do that to give that to players or to the GM, so they can even make me change stuff. The other one that's not super self-explanatory is Complication, which is the $15 one. With that one, as long as it is setting appropriate and appropriate in general, you can give us any complication to the story that you want. And that can make the player's life more difficult, it can make my life more difficult, or everybody's life more difficult, depending on what it is. But it's usually pretty fun, and it can really add some interesting twists to the stories. So those are the two that are not quite self-explanatory. Only donate if you are able to. If you are not, and you still want to support the channel, there is tons that you can do through lurking, just being here, chatting, sharing the tweet that's on Twitter about the stream going live, which there's the Twitter link again. All kinds of stuff that you can do. So we definitely appreciate you being here. All of that being said, we'll do a quick introduction of our players, and then we'll jump into the thick of the game. So we'll go in counterclockwise. We'll start with Gwen. Hey Gwen, tell us a little bit about Liara, and then what you do on the internet and where we can find you.
So, yes. I'm Gwen. I'm going to be playing Liara, and I guess Liara's like, I'd say similar to Joan, I guess.
Yeah,
I hope.
I'd say so. Maybe a little less diabolical in some aspects as Joan on Badlands. Very logic based though, for sure.
Yes, I will. Yeah, you can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Potato Hallow, and I will be streaming next year, mid next year, very earliest 6 months of next year. I will start streaming, but not anytime soon.
That is awesome, though. So definitely head over to at Potato Hallow on Twitch as well as Twitter and give Gwen a follow, because they're awesome. And next we'll toss it over to Econorlax. Tell us a little bit about Mora, yourself, and where we can find you.
Hi, I'll be playing Mora. She's Kataran engineer in the service of the law. Kataran are small, a bit cat-like humanoids. She believes in order, she believes in law, she believes in power of good and power of light, and her world is about to fall into pieces. She has a brother
Hello
in
there.
New Berlin serving in the Force 2. I think she doesn't know what happened to him, but the news of New Berlin falling got to her, right?
Yes. Yeah, you're all going to know what happened.
So she is a reliable officer, no nonsense person. She's not into physical things because she's not very brave, and I think that's all about her.
Okay, cool.
As for me, I'm Ekinorlax. You can find me mostly here playing RPGs with Gwyn, Raven, and other wonderful guests. And that's pretty much all for now, except maybe for Twitter. You can find me under Ekinorlax too. Once I finish plastering my workshop, I'll move my camera there and I'll stream some tinkering. But for now,
Cool.
Twitter and games here is everything. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And then, last but not least, Lapis Labs. Tell us a little bit about Krylance and yourself and where we can find you.
Hey guys, so yeah, my name's Lapis Labs. Tonight I'll be playing Krylance, or Cry for short. He is a lightning magic user, and he's kind of an asshole, not gonna lie. He doesn't ever say anything that deeply offends anybody, but he just kind of always has like a backwards response to things, and he's always kind of in a bad mood, like whatever. But he's very highly skilled in magic. He's very cynical, and at the end of the day, he is a nice guy. He's a good guy. But he can probably give you a lot of headaches around the way. So that's Krylance.
Cool. And where can we find you online?
You can find me on Twitter or Twitch, both at Lapis Labs.
Awesome. And as you all know, I am Raven, professional game master, tabletop streamer, obviously, and tabletop designer. You can obviously find me here just about every day, as well as on Twitter. Again, my handle's right below my face. And with that, we'll jump in. So, as I mentioned in previous episodes, we started in Kara City, which is the capital city of Kara, the planet. That's the planet's name. I'm going to turn this music down just a scooch because it's a little loud. There we go. Everyone's on Kara City, or on Kara, the planet, and we know that Kara City has fallen, followed by New Berlin. Liara has actually been present in both episodes, so Liara has escaped New Berlin and is making their way over to Echo City, which is where we're going to start our session today. Echo City is a good piece away. Liara, you were probably lended, or lent. Is it lent or lended? Either way. You were given an airship to get you there so that you could get there faster. So you do have that, and you're able to land in Echo City, which you find completely intact and nothing appears to be wrong. As far as some more backstory on what's going on with Kara, the planet, humanity essentially evolved, got out of our own solar system and explored the galaxy. Met a couple of other races along the way, the Arcarians and the Katarans, and formed an alliance and have basically achieved a sort of utopian paradise. And all of our characters here are playing Sentinels, which are something of a police force meets the Jedi, if I had to compare it to something. So they all have light magic that they can use. They're all considered to be, the best, most upstanding citizens, and pretty powerful. They are protectors and enforcers of the law. So what we will find is that our three players here are playing these Sentinels, and they are present, we'll say outside of a cafe in the center of Echo City as we start. Liara, Cry, and Mora, You just heard the news announced to all the Sentinels over the comms about the fall of Kara City and New Berlin. And you've heard that there's nothing left. The word is that there was a few survivors, not sure on an exact number, but the city itself, both of them are completely gone. There's nothing left. And you've been told to stay alert and be on standby for further instructions as the leadership of Echo City tries to figure out, what they can do to defend against this darkness that seems to be coming in. They tell you to be on the lookout for any suspicious shadows, weird cloaked figures, and anything that just seems kind of off or sinister. So you all just got that update, and you've met up outside this cafe. You could be getting coffee or pastries or eating or whatever you'd like to do, but that's where you are. You all probably know each other except for maybe Liara, who's from out of town. So what do you say to each other as you are processing this news?
Another city's fallen. I just can't take this anymore.
Mora's ears lie flat on her head because her brother serves in New Berlin, and she knows it's not the time to ask about him because her duty is to this city and her duty is above everything else, but let's say she's a little sad.
Okay, makes sense.
Krylance is very hard to stay put. He's eager to run in and help, but he knows that his duty is to stay there, so he's very frustrated in the fact that he feels powerless.
Okay.
Same though.
All right, so probably this just sense of a little bit stunned, a little bit numb from the news of not being able to process just the weight of two of the largest cities on the planet just being gone, especially Kara City, which was the capital. Okay, that's fair. You all kind of linger in that sort of quiet information processing for a little while. Several minutes go by and it's kind of quiet. The entire city just seems to be in that same state of I don't know what to do. And just when it seems to get really awkward silence, you all hear a report over the comms and says, hey, we had some calls coming from the chapel. I'm not really sure how to describe what these people saw. It might be nothing. I mean, everybody's kind of paranoid, given what just happened. But somebody said they saw a weird shadow that seemed to turn inside out. I don't even know what that means, but you three are the closest. Could you go check it out?
Liara's gonna start running as fast as they can in that direction.
Okay.
I want to roll tech engineering in order to run faster.
Oh, you're gonna do your run boost thing. Yeah, go ahead and roll tech engineering. And then Mora, you had something that you wanted to do?
Well, I was just about to mutter quietly, not here to.
Okay.
I will, but duty comes first. I will run after Liara.
All right. So Liara, that's a 21. It looks like. Excuse me. All right. So with the 21, you are definitely able to activate your tech abilities that we've talked about before, and you're able to run about twice as fast as you would normally be able to. So you most likely get there ahead of everybody else. Mora and Cry, if you're running after Liara as fast as you can, go ahead and give me a nimbleness roll. Which nimbleness you'll find, I think, about 2/3 the way down the skill section of the character sheet. Perfect. So it's an 18 for Mora and a 15 for Cry. So, Liara, you get there several minutes ahead of everybody else. With Mora showing up, I'd say maybe 6 or 7 minutes after you. And then a couple minutes after that, you've got Cry bringing up the rear. And what you...
Liara's going to look around for the shadow.
Yeah, what you see looks something like this. Everybody give me a sight check, which is in your skills.
Yes!
So that's a nat 20 from Gwen, 31 for Lapis, and a 22 for Ekinor. Okay, so we'll start with what Mora sees. So Mora, as you walk up, or run up, I should say, you get to the Echo City Chapel, and you just see a bunch of people walking around. It's getting a little bit later in the day, and so the sun is just starting to set. Everything looks pretty normal. You can tell that people are tense and concerned. Obviously, the news did not just stay among the sentinels and the city leadership. So word of the other cities has started to spread. You can definitely see that everybody's worried, and you can just feel that energy of tension and anxiety in the air. But as you look around, you don't notice any weird shadows or anything. You just see a lot of really tense people. Cry, you're bringing up the rear, and you stop as you approach Liara and Mora. With a 15, you might be a little bit out of breath as you catch up. But you see that same sort of thing. You notice that everybody seems to be kind of tense. Maybe not with as much empathy as to being able to feel that tension from everybody, but you can see in their faces, you can analyze their expressions that everybody's kind of paranoid and on edge. And then Liara, you see all of that, but you also notice that parts of the chapel building itself seem to have a very, very faint glow to it. It's barely detectable, but you're just able to see really, really well right now, and you can notice that parts of the chapel seem to be glowing. Notably, the parts where what seems to be natural shadows are hitting the building.
Oh, looks like our fellow sentinels are already in there.
Would you like to roll gut feeling?
Yes. I have a 2 in this, so
Oh, good.
let's see how this goes.
Yeah, you go with the assumption that other sentinels must be in the chapel. That must be what's causing this. So you don't notice any suspicious shadows. You don't notice anything that was reported. What do you do?
Mora will be trailing Liara because she does not feel brave enough to take any kind of initiative for now. She is still a bit stunned by the news of the fall of her brother's town.
That makes sense.
Liara will cautiously go in with their laser pistol out.
Okay. Roll empathy for Liara.
And also, Cry is just still upset that he came in last.
I'm going to.
That makes sense.
I'm going to roll
Right.
a physical die for this.
Cry says when he finally caught up and he's out of breath, he said,
Nat 20, so 24.
Nice. Go ahead, Lapis.
"Oh, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt."
No, you're good.
When Cry was walking up all out of breath, he goes, I would have been first if it wasn't for Liara's fancy schmancy machines. Oh. And he's just very angry, and he's kind of not paying attention to the situation. He recognizes people in distress, but he's more concerned with losing.
I love it. All right. So nat 20 with 24, which with fundamental RPG, the system we're using, a nat 20 is a crit. Doesn't always mean an auto success, but it almost always does. Basically, we add plus 10 to that, so it makes it a 34.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty for you to realize. You start to pull out your pistol, and then you have a thought. You look around and you see a lot of concerned, very tense and anxious civilians around this chapel, and you think, I wonder what would happen if I pulled out a laser pistol right now and burst into this chapel.
Oh, put
You're
the
still
laser pistol back.
you're still more than welcome to go through with that action, but Liara does have that split second thought of, this might have consequences I hadn't thought about.
No, I'm not going to pull out the laser pistol. I'm just going to go into the chapel.
Okay, perfect. As you get into the chapel, there is a very different energy in the air. You feel a little bit rejuvenated. You don't feel quite as anxious or as sort of numb in feeling from processing all of that destruction. And, excuse me. You notice that everybody in here seems to be a little bit more relaxed. Go ahead and give me a sight roll to see if you notice anything specific.
Awesome.
Oh, my kind of crowd.
So an 18 from Liara.
Oh, sorry, me too.
Yeah, if you follow inside, then yes, you can roll sight.
Yes.
Okay, so Liara, that's about all you see. You don't notice anything else. Cry, you also get a sense of just feeling a little bit lighter. You feel a little less out of breath, and generally just feel stronger. And as you look around, you can see that everybody's facial expressions are a little bit looser. Everybody's a little more relaxed, and you just have a general feeling of safeness here. You do notice that there's a weird glow coming from the shadows that you can see through the window. So not inside the building, but just outside the building.
Okay.
And then Mora, you see all of that, but you also notice that the shadows that are outside the building seem to have a slight bit of movement to them. So it's not just a steady glow, it kind of flickers and moves. You probably wouldn't be able to notice that if that glow were not in place.
Okay. So the call to action was about the area of chapel, not the chapel itself. It was not precise where the things is happening, so I tell to my partners. I think the disturbance was near the chapel, not in the chapel itself. Let's check the area outside.
I agree.
Okay.
Liara's going to keep sweeping the chapel while they go outside.
We'll start with Cry and Mora then. As you exit, do you go out the main front door that you entered, or do you go through a side door or look for a back door?
We have already seen what's in front of front door, so let's maybe check side door.
Okay. You're able to spot a side door to the right as you're facing the back wall. So as you entered the chapel, immediately to your right is a side door, about halfway down that right wall. So middle of the chapel. You go through that door, and as you open it, you can immediately see that swirling motion in the shadow, because it's right outside that door. You actually feel some resistance from the door as you try to open it.
So I report, but not by yelling, but by using the communicator, so not to cause the panic. I speak
Okay.
silently to the communicator. Shadows are here, Officer Liara.
Leon responds, "On my way."
Okay.
I assume Cry heard it just like that.
Yes, and Cry also said you forgot to say over, over.
My ears lie even flatter. Oh no, I dropped the soldier.
Perfect. So Liara, you're on your way over, and Cry and Mora, you notice that shadow
30 for
starts
tech
to.
engineering to get my butt over there.
Okay. So let me retract that then. You're just there. Mora goes like, "Hey, the shadows are here," and then it's just like, "Whoa, where the crap did you come from?"
And Cry's like, I could have been faster.
So all three of you then notice quite readily where Mora has opened this door. The shadow is starting to pour in, much like you would see like the fog coming off of dry ice if it were in a closed container and then you were to suddenly open it. The shadow seems heavy, so it crawls across the ground, but it looks like a vapor. It gets part of the way inside the chapel, and then you hear a faint sizzling noise as it seems to only be able to go in so far.
I'd be very careful.
My flaw is scaredy cat, so I guess I'll start by taking few steps back into the chapel back.
Okay.
My flaw is arrogance, so I'm like, well, surely nothing's gonna hurt me, so I walk forward.
All right, perfect. Cry, do you go like fully into the shadow outside, or just take like one step into it?
I go to the point to where the sizzling started to examine if there's any kind of
Okay.
cause for that.
So you're not like inside the shadow. You're just right at the edge of it. So yeah, you
Correct,
can
yeah.
see the sizzling. And it appears that the inside of this chapel affects that fog or vapor or whatever it is in such a way where it can't come in. But you can see that the smoke or the vapor or the fog is kind of viscous almost. And you get a bad feeling coming off of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and lift it with tech engineering. with tech engineering.
Okay. Describe to me exactly how you would lift it with technology.
Liara has psionics, so it's like
So,
in
like-
Mass Effect, like,
so, like-
in Mass Effect when you lift a person.
Okay, so
I'm good.
telekinesis, basically.
Yeah, I'm
All
going
right.
to try. Let's see. That's a 19. Probably not enough.
Yeah, you try to use psionic power on it, and basically what happens, you see the smoke lift up a little bit, but then it almost like pours, almost like in a, like it forms a V as it comes up, and then it just pours down the middle of that V back onto the ground. And you're able to tell that you lifted the air around it, but not the fog itself.
Yikes.
Do I have any
Um,
type of cleansing magic or no?
You do have, everybody has light, which you can
Alright.
use in a variety of different ways. So you mentioned that you wanted to use your light as sort of lightning mostly. You could
Yes.
try like sending lightning into it and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that because I'm arrogant as balls.
All right, go ahead and roll magic engineering. And we'll just see how effective it is. Because you're not really attacking it, so to speak. Just sending that out
Right.
into it. So 29. With a 29, you're able to send a pretty significant amount of lightning. Does it just like come off of your hands or your fingers, or how would you describe it?
Yeah, it comes from my palms. It's
Okay.
different bolts of lightning that scatter through different directions, but focused on the point to which I'm directing it.
Perfect. So yeah, it looks like a bad thunderstorm at night. So there's just forks of this lightning, arcing light crackle through the fog, and parts of it are obscured, so you get that sort of glowing flash behind the arcs of lightning. And some of the arcs are a little bit obscured because the fog has wrapped in around it. Um, the entirety of the fog seems to recoil at that, so it pulls completely out of the door. Um, but otherwise seems not super affected.
Okay. So it did have some sort of reaction, but not some. It didn't really hurt it. It just kind of pushed it back a little bit.
Yeah. You do get
Liara, seeing this, would like to try and do something similar.
Okay, give me 1 sec. So with the cry, you do feel something that's a little bit odd that you're not used to feeling. You're used to using your own magic and having your own strength, but you do feel like there's an abundance of light here that you could draw on if you focused a little bit on it, which you don't normally feel. So it's kind of like being used to having your own supply of fuel and then feeling like you're suddenly in a lake of fuel that you could pull from.
Got it.
And it's very unusual to you. So, Liara, what did you want to do?
So Krylance used his magic on the cloud, and it had an effect.
Mm-hmm.
Liara would like to use light magic on the cloud and see what effect it has with their light magic.
Sure. In what way do you want to use your light magic? As like a beam or something else, or?
Liara's light magic manifests in the same way as their tech powers, but instead of the tech powers, they just use
The light?
their light.
Okay, so sort of using light, but the same way that you would psionic powers?
Yeah.
Okay, totally
Just
doable.
a different source. So
Totally doable. Go ahead and roll magic
17.
engineering. Okay. Are you trying to cleanse it or lift it or
Cleanse it.
Okay. With a 17, you're able to send that sort of light beam, much like you would a psionic power, into the cloud. And I'd say about, you know what, I'll actually make a roll for this one to see how far out it goes. If I can get my dice case open. You burn away 3 feet of it, so it recedes back a little bit further. As soon as you stop shooting that light into it, you can tell that it's slowly starting to creep back forward, but it's at a rate of, maybe a quarter inch every couple minutes, so it's moving slowly.
Well,
Go ahead, Ekar.
Okay, so as I've seen it happening, I shake off my initial fear because I was about to ask if the shadow is about to enter the chapel, but I realized it might cause a panic inside. And seeing them use their light with so much effect, I remember I'm officer of the light of the force here, so I take few steps back outside.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And stand in the door. That will be my move for the turn.
Okay, so you're kind of moving into the doorway, sort of protectively to protect the people inside.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Perfect. Otherwise, the shadow seems to be unaffected. It's still there. It's still swirling. It's still slowly growing. but Liara and Cry, you definitely had an effect on it. Liara, you also feel that same thing that Cry did. Like, as soon as you tapped into your light magic, you felt the sort of overwhelming pull of that resource that you could pull from, that you are not used to feeling. Especially Liara, since you don't rely on your light as much.
Liara's been training in between the last episode and this one.
Okay, with Sergeant L. Jackson. No, Sergeant L. Jackson. He did get away. Yeah, so he's with.
Yeah. Liara's had enough of feeling useless, and decided to start training in the light.
Okay.
Because that's the only thing that seems to affect these. So Liara feeling this is going to try and tap into that source. Awesome.
Roll magic engineering.
I'm going to use physical die for this because roll 20 seems to be rolling low.
Ooh, sounds like a heavy die.
That's cocked.
For real.
That's a 9 plus 12 is 21.
21? Okay. Yeah. As you reach out to that sort of resource that's around you, you feel it coming in like these, for lack of a better description, tendrils coming off the walls, out of the floor, off of the furniture. But instead of it being like this weird, sticky kind of thing, it's just pure light that kind of comes up and rushes into you, and you're able to redirect that out. What would you like to do with this?
Redirect it at the shadow.
All right, give me a magic engineering roll with a plus 10.
Okay. And because that die rolled decently, I'm going to trust roll 20 this time. Should not have trusted roll 20, but 25.
You chose poorly.
Yeah, I'm going to stick to that die. That die is doing pretty good.
So it's a 15, but you still got the plus 10. So that makes it a 25. So, Liara, as you try to pull from this, you feel this sudden, rush of power, and you get a little excited and you lose focus. So your directed attack at this blob of shadow, you realize immediately that because you're not used to wielding that much power at once, it threw you off a little.
Or this power at all.
Yeah, it threw you off a little bit, so you immediately understand that you can do better. But even with that sort of distracted, unfocused attack at this thing, everybody else, you can see Liara's eyes start to glow, and there's just this this aura of glowing yellow light around Liara as she shoots this much larger beam of energy into the shadow. And you all hear just this wispy, sort of raspy noise as the light goes into the shadow and completely evaporates it.
Nice.
And Liara's ecstatic. I feel powerful.
Would anyone like to give me... let's see. Let me take a look at the skill list here, because there's a couple of different things that you can do here. You can do education. You can do empathy.
I'm going to do education because I have learned.
Right.
Is that roll twice and take the highest, or just?
It is. I think everything in fundamental RPG, if I'm not forgetting something, is you can reroll it.
Can reroll it. Okay.
So if you don't like the first roll, you can reroll again.
No, I like that very much for education.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of those. If you roll it and you don't like it, you can reroll it, but you have to take the second one. is how that works. So yeah,
It's not even the
education,
highest I can roll.
education, empathy, or gut feeling. So Cry and Mora, which ones would you like to use?
Gut feeling.
Okay,
Also, may I ask a question?
absolutely.
That feeling of overwhelming power that was good yet unusual. Have I ever felt anything like that before?
Um, give me
Perhaps
an
once in a distant memory.
give me an education roll to see how well you're able to pull up that memory. 7. You have a very vague, very vague sort of memory. Maybe it was a dream. Maybe it was something that happened when you were really little. You can't quite recall.
Yeah, I
but
have
you
like
do
this
remember
very
having
vague memory of a person with glowing eyes, like Liara. It's one of my earliest memories. Can't remember if I felt scared or what I felt, but I just had that vague memory of that.
Yeah, it's like trying to remember something that happened in a dream that you just can't quite
Yeah.
recall.
Right.
But it does have a sense of familiarity to you. Real quick, so Liara, you got a 31 on education. You go back to some of your earliest training and some of the mythology of Kara, about the really old stories of Sentinels, basically having more of a relationship with the light. So the light actually being sentient and communicating with Sentinels, and there being spots where the Sentinels' power was stronger because of that. And that suddenly comes to mind, something you hadn't thought about in years, because it's mythology. It's not really something that people talk about a whole lot. It's not considered, real. It's just legend. But that suddenly comes rushing back to your memory. Mora. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Liara has the cynic cynic virtue. It's a virtue.
Ah,
It
finally
is.
something we have a similarity on.
Yeah.
Except mine's my downfall.
Yeah, cynic is a virtue in that it helps you resist things that aren't real.
Oh, that's right. I was thinking of arrogance.
But also
Yeah.
it causes Liara to highly suspect that mythology is just mythology.
Okay, that's totally fine. All right, so Mora going over
Go
to
with gut feeling.
Ekinor. Gut feeling. All right, and the roll was 24.
24.
So with gut feeling, you haven't really tried to access your light yet, but you just saw what Cry and Liara did, and as you see Liara have that rush of power, you don't really know Liara, but you've never really seen any Sentinel have that sort of ability. And so you start to think maybe there's something to either Liara, or maybe it's this place, or both.
So I am a light user. I've been using it to help it build things. I use light to connect things together, weld things.
Okay.
So I guess that's a bit like lightning. I might try casting.
Okay. Go ahead and roll magic engineering. So
29.
29. All right. So yeah, you're able to tap into it, and you're able to cast it however you'd like. As soon as you tap into it, you also feel that same thing that Liara and Cry did, which is there's this huge resource of power here that I can pull from that I can't normally access. This is new.
So I'm casting lightning because welding is like lightning. I'm casting lightning at the cloud of shadows.
Okay. So the main shadow by the door has already been dispatched, but you do see another shadow off in the being cast sort of by another part of the chapel as the sunset light's hitting it. So you spot another one that you all hadn't really quite noticed before, and you throw that lightning at it, and yeah, same thing. As you tap into that power that's there, your eyes start to glow, and the sort of like an arc welder, you're able to zap it, and the whole cloud of shadow just sort of dissipates.
Wow. I say.
Liara says, "Good job. We're actually making a dent."
Should we fry them?
Yes, absolutely.
Are all the shadows gone, or should I look to see if anything is still there?
You absolutely can check. So roll sight. So it's a 25. You notice that the shadows are gone on this side of the building. You can do a quick run around the outside of the building to see if you find more, if you'd like.
Okay, but so far there's no more shadows. So yeah, let me do one more check around the building because Cry's upset that he's the only one who didn't get more powerful, so he wants the opportunity.
Awesome. So yeah, you do a quick.
I
go
think
ahead.
we should follow him just to be
Yeah.
sure, not to skip the
Liara's gonna
patrol.
follow him using nippleness, not tech engineering this time, because they feel
Okay.
like they've
And
gone so far. So 24.
24. Yeah, you're able to keep up, no problem. So
Nimbleness.
Cry, you're pretty focused on finding these shadows. But Liara and Mora, you have a chance to notice something. Let me have you give a sight or empathy check for this. You can choose
Sight.
one or the other. It's 26 and a 22. Perfect. Is that a sight for both?
Sight.
Okay. So as you turn around to follow Cry, you notice that there were, as we mentioned, other people inside the chapel. And so you see just like families and individuals who were just sort of sitting in quiet reflection are now just staring at the three of you with their mouths hanging open and just like, what the crap
They're on
just
the outside
happened?
of the temple.
They're on the inside.
Oh, on the inside. But
This
when we
is
just
as you're
We were on the outside,
um
making a
yeah,
loop around the building.
this is as you go to move outside. So I think
Mm-hmm.
Mora, you are actually outside, and then Cry and Liara were just barely inside the building. So as you all get ready to leave, you take a look around, and you can see everybody's just staring at you like, what the crap? Do you address them at all or acknowledge it, or do you just keep going?
Oh, I definitely address them.
Okay.
Cry says, despite what you may have seen, let it be known that I'm the most powerful. Because he's an asshole.
I love it. And what
What
is
the
This is
fuck?
just my character, guys. He's just an asshole.
Liara says, "Be not alarmed. We are going to do our best to defend you."
That was not the best choice of words too. Mora thinks, and citizens, don't worry. The Sentinel Corps has it all under control. And there stands a little kitten saying things to bigger men.
I love it. Okay. So everyone kind of seems unfazed by anything that you just said. They're still staring like in shock.
Oh yeah, they're looking at how attractive I am.
I love Cry. That's amazing.
Okay.
But they're not panicking or anything like that. They're just sort of like, I don't know what I just saw. So you're able to go out and Cry. You're taking points. You notice on the opposite side. So as you're facing the front of the chapel, it's now on the left side of the building. You notice 2 or 3 more little groups of shadow that seem to be creeping up on the side of the chapel, and they have that little bit of glow in them from whatever's coming off the chapel.
I'm gonna speed right to it, usually using lightning to boost me, so I get there before my other teammates.
Okay, roll magic engineering. 15. You get a little bit of a boost. Liara is right on your heels, but you do manage to get there just a little bit before Liara this time.
With her fancy gadgets.
There.
But you get there, and you can see that the shadow is growing, but it's not able to really touch the chapel. It's just right on the surface of the wall, running along the ground, right up against it.
I'm gonna do the same tactic I did with trying to use lightning to separate some shadows to try to cleanse it, but at a smaller scale than what we did inside.
Okay, go ahead and roll magic engineering again. 28, awesome. So yeah, you also get the plus 10 because you're pulling from the power, so you get a 38, which means you can make that as large or as small as you would like. So go ahead and describe what you want the effect to be.
The lightning goes in between each molecule of shadow to kind of separate them, maybe deatomize them to try to turn it into vapor and kind of disappear like what we saw before. But I get a little bit extra with the amount of lightning I do and put on a little bit of a bigger show because I'm feeling insecure.
I love it. So yeah, the lightning kind of forks all throughout this clump of shadow, and it's like that old Star Trek Next Generation effect when somebody gets shot by like the super powered phaser,
Right?
And it just sort of falls apart from the inside, just sort of eats out from the middle, and you demolecularize. That's a hard word to say. You do that, and it evaporates, and it's just gone. There's still a couple of clumps left that weren't attached to that one, but yeah, it's super flashy. There's a big bright light, and it looks very impressive.
Then I turn around and say, "Beat that."
That was actually really impressive. I am very proud of you.
Well, of course you are.
Mora will change her mind because she noticed how important, she remembered how important it is to take care of citizens on the scene of crime or disturbance, and decides there was no effect on citizens for her last performance, let's say, because all these pesky humans are sizist and they look down on smaller on them. And she will climb a pewter or some column to tell them again from higher vantage point that the sentinels have everything under control.
Okay, so you followed everybody outside originally, right?
Yes, but as we stopped
so-
to address the citizens, I continue to calm them.
Okay, so it's just Liara and Cry on the left side of the building. Mora's
Exactly.
still inside. So yeah, there's like a podium and little stage where someone would give sermons, that type of thing, up at the front, and you're able to hop on top of that and address everybody. You can do. Sounds like for this you'd probably be rolling speech. Go ahead and roll that, and we'll see how effective
Not
you're.
my best skill, but it's what I need to do.
Yeah. A 4. You do have. I forgot to add it in here, but yeah, everybody does have a reroll
Yeah, I
to
was
start
about
with.
to check.
So
Maybe
I
I'll
need
do
to-
that. Yeah, seems like good idea.
if you would like to.
Yes, please do. Speech again. Much better.
Nice. I love it.
Gwen, you also have a sensu bean
Mm-hmm.
from the last one, so that did carry
Yes.
over. Just heads up. which gives you half your health back if it drops down.
I noticed that earlier.
So 21. 21. So you hop up on the podium and you're like, citizens, it's okay. And as you're talking to them, most of them kind of calm down and go, okay, this is official. We just need to not ask questions, just chill. And you do have one person sort of sitting up front. Looks like he was probably reading some sort of scripture or something in the front pew, and he raises his hand kind of shakily and is looking at you, Mora.
Yes, citizen?
Should we go or stay here?
Everybody stay on their places. I'll report the situation to Central and ask them about the situation on the outside of the chapel first. And I do that. I contact the Central through the communicator.
Okay.
Reporting what has happened, reporting that there are some shadows. We used our light skills to control their move again into the chapel and ask for advice.
Okay. So you contact the headquarters for Echo City Sentinels, and you hear a voice come on the line, and she's like, yes, Mora, I'm glad you called. I was getting ready to call you. I just had the weirdest report come across my desk. I know there are strange things going on. We've got 2 cities down. But are you throwing flashbang grenades around Echo Chapel?
No, we use our light skills.
Okay.
You know, welding, throwing power of light.
Okay, that makes sense. Is there a threat there? Do we need to send reinforcements? What are you attacking?
There's some strange shadow. We just keep it at bay with light, and that's what I was about to ask. How should we proceed from here?
Well, I mean, generally when you put light at a shadow, it does tend to go away.
This one
Was the
seems
shadow
like a living one.
A living shadow. Okay. No, that actually checks out with some of the spotty reports we did get back from New Berlin. All right, so you launched light at these shadows and the shadow went away.
Yes, but it behaves like a living creature. I don't know. Colony of unicellular organisms. I don't know. It's made of shadow.
All right. Well, I've never seen anything like this, so I'm going to say use your best judgment, but try not to scare the citizens. They're already pretty riled up from this news, so...
Yes, we seem to have situation under control here.
All right,
I would
very
like
good.
Liara hearing this is like, I would like you to do periodic scans to see if there's any more shadows, because I don't know if we got all of them. I hope so, but I think it prudent just to do more scans.
All right, we can certainly try that. How do we scan for shadows? Is there some sort of signature that's coming off of them?
Would Liara? I can roll education for this, can't I?
Yeah.
32.
32? So you're able to sort of put your scientist hat on for a little bit here, and you're thinking about it, and you're realizing, okay, well, obviously we don't have a shadow scanner, because it's not a thing. You've never had to deal with this as a culture or a society. But you do know that, you also recall that radio signals can pass through it without any problem, because you've been able to talk to people while inside the shadows. But obviously light is strongly affected. So you would be able to sort of hypothesize that an infrared scan might give them some results.
I would check on the infrared spectrum and look for dark places.
Right. Okay, we'll give that a shot, and we'll be in touch. You all sort of get the sense that this commander at headquarters is in way over her head. She's trying to sound confident, but you all very easily can get the sense that she's kind of terrified.
I'm gonna roll empathy just to see if Liara.
Well, yeah,
It's a
Craig could have told you
15.
that. That's how all the commanders are.
15. So yeah, even with a 15, you're able to tell that she's guessing here. So while she's trying to appear confident and trying to instill that confidence in her troops, she's failing at it pretty badly.
Mm-hmm.
So I noticed that Liara seems to know more, and as citizens are calmed, I will join the remaining two of my patrol.
Mm-hmm.
For now.
Are we still trying to sense where these shadows are?
That is a good question. You do still see a couple of them in front of you, and you did hear over the comms that command said, "Carry on. Use your best judgment."
Mm-hmm. So Liara is going to roll magic engineering to to do another blast in a shadow with a +10.
Okay.
Ooh, that's 25. Or no. Wait. Yeah, 25 plus 10. So 35.
Okay. Yeah,
For magic engineering.
you pull from that power and you're able to blast it, and the shadow dissipates. Cry and now Mora, as you catch up with him, you both see there's one more blob of shadow left, as Liara is taking care of the other one. What do you do?
I say they don't pay me enough to dispel two of these things so fancily, so I'm leaving it up to you.
Mora is not the bravest cat, and she's a bit disturbed by the initiative being left to her, so she says quietly, "Let's do it together."
I just go, no, whatever. I turn around without looking, just with one hand, shoot my lightning tactic to try to dispel that shadow again without looking at neither Mora or the shadow.
Okay. Give me a magic engineering roll, Lapis. So Mora, you'll still get the bonus, but Lapis, because Cry is doing this without looking and trying to show off, you don't get the +10. So Mora, you basically are the one that's actually doing the work here. But
I needed moral support anyway, so he's doing the job.
Krylance blames it on interference from Liara's technical signals.
Perfect. Liara, how do you respond to that?
That's actually logical.
Oh.
Told you they don't pay me enough.
So, as the last blob of shadow dissipates, all of you hear a screeching, screaming sound coming from the air, way up above you. And you get the sense that whatever you just destroyed was linked to something else, and it's not happy at its little minions being destroyed. you all get a very bad feeling, and you have the sense that there is imminent danger approaching. You've got a few seconds. What do you do? So I'm gonna hate myself for this, but Mora's being a scaredy Kataran.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm giving up my initiative and those 5 seconds. I will lose it on being afraid, definitely.
Alright.
So we sense that a big danger is coming.
Yeah, you are that Simpsons little clip, the little kid on the bus going, "I'm in danger."
Liara's going to try and make a magical barrier
Okay.
because they've seen someone do this before. So
Aw,
try and make a magical barrier with light.
Sad face.
What? Sad face.
Oh, just thinking about Johnston and
Oh,
Morris
yeah.
from the last one.
Oh, yeah.
For anybody that didn't see the last episode, we had 2 player characters sacrifice themselves at the end, holding up this
Ooh.
barrier so people could get away.
One of them was Mora's brother.
Mm-hmm.
So that's in that
Hey!
one.
Michael Wayne, thank you so much for that $2 donation. Very much appreciate it.
That's excellent timing because that was in that one. If that's, I'm gonna re-roll that anyway because I already have a re-roll. But if that's
You
another
do.
re-roll,
Yes, Michael. How would you like to distribute that $2?
that's a nat 20. That's a nat 1 re-rolled into a nat 20
That's impressive.
plus 20 plus 12. So that's 40 plus 12 is 52.
Whoa.
Wait, what?
Because you said,
I got lost in the math there. Say that again. So nat 20
are we
plus
rolling
what?
magic engineering? What are we rolling?
if you-
Magic engineering. Magic engineering is a nat 20, so that's all automatically a plus 10. And you said
Right.
I could tap into the thing, which is another 10, so that's 40.
Yes, you can.
And then my
Okay.
magic engineering is 12, so it's 52 in total.
That makes sense. I wasn't realizing that you're tapping into the big pool there again.
Yeah.
So my brain, when you said 50, I was like, doesn't compute. What? That makes sense now. Yes. You
Yes.
are able to encapsulate the entire chapel and a good, 6 feet around the chapel in this giant light dome. You do feel a little bit tired after you pull that off. You can tell that you just basically processed way more power than you're used to. And so even though the power wasn't coming just from you, the fact that much went through your system in such a short amount of time, you can definitely tell that that's not a good idea to do that consistently. Here and there, you're probably fine. There's no danger to you from what you just did. But you get the
Leon's
feeling
going
that
to turn to Mora and Krylance and weakly say, "Keep the barrier up, please. I feel drained."
Yeah, you get the sense that that there is a danger associated with using that much power at once. Though you are fine now, there's no problem.
So I help Liara keep the barrier by charging it with my own light. So magical engineering.
Okay.
Ooh,
Oh,
I'm going to use
no.
my re-roll for Economax.
Okay.
We're biting to them. Okay, rerolling.
That's
That-
still
at,
not a nat 1.
at least not a fumble.
All right. So 22. That's actually not bad.
Yeah,
So
I quite good skills, but the dice did
So-
not lend me much help here.
Are you tapping into the pool of light energy
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Okay.
If it helps.
Yeah, so you reinforce the barrier that's already there, and it's becoming more solid. Like you can tell that it's still, you can see through it, but you can tell that it's getting more structure to it. It's stronger and thicker. Krylance, do you also do this, or do you do something else?
Yeah, well, I am going to contribute to putting up this barrier because it does seem to be the greater good. However, seeing as I'm probably used the least amount of energy, I feel like that I can just kind of kick back. I'm going to pull out my copy of Make Out Paradise and then contribute to the light like this.
Perfect.
I love it. Go ahead and give me a magic engineering roll.
Without the +10.
Yeah.
And
Relying on
he
your own
overrode
wits
me
and
anyway.
abilities. With a 24, you actually still contribute. It's not quite as much because you're
Yeah,
a
that's all
little
right.
distracted by your,
Make
your,
Out Paradise. Yeah.
yeah, your romance novel, we'll call it. But you do contribute. As you all do this, you have made it this strong dome over the chapel. Cry, as soon as you finish that, you hear what sounds like a tearing or ripping sound, but it's very, very loud. It's almost like you would, if somebody had set up a whole bank of speakers and a microphone and then ripped a piece of paper right next to the microphone.
Is it my book?
No, it's not your book. But you do look up, and Liara, you see a somewhat familiar scene.
Oh no. No. I'm glad we have the barrier.
Yeah. You're all
Krylance
able
is
to look
confused
up
as he's
and-
never seen this before.
Yeah, you're able to look up and you see this sort of portal-looking thing that has appeared in the sky. And that same dark fog that you've been fighting is just pouring through it on, just a massive scale. And you can see little blobs of shadow dropping out of it and falling onto different parts of the city. You all, at that point, hear over the comms, "Attention, all sentinels, it's happening here. There's shadows falling. We think this is how they attack. They're bombarding the city. No idea what the effect of the weapons are, but be on the lookout. We're going to try to figure out how to seal whatever this portal is that they're coming through. But your top priority is to protect the civilians. Get them to someplace safe."
Liara
And then,
responds, I think we have done that. There's no place safer than where we are right now.
okay, great. If you set up a safe haven, then we're gonna need you to make sure other people get to it.
Yes. Direct all civilians to here. They should be able to pass through the barrier, no problem. The shadows, however, will have difficulty.
Okay, great. We're kind of short-handed here, so I'm gonna need you to go out into the city, find the people, and take them back there.
Don't we need to maintain the barrier actively?
I will
I'm
give you all
asking
this.
Liara, not this
Okay.
commanding officer.
Liara, you can tell that it's standing up on its own and could probably take a decent beating before you'd have to try to reinforce it again.
We can go out and bring people as long as it's not assaulted fully by the shadows. It should hold for a while. We need to go find people, bring them back, and then worry about reinforcing it again.
Yes, Officer Liara.
And then Cry, as he's hearing all of this, trying to read the last sentence of his book before he goes, yeah, okay, I agree.
All right,
And
but,
Liara rolls tech engineering to run out and find people.
okay, go ahead and do that. While you're doing that, just to kind of cover what happens, as soon as you kind of finish the conversation, you can tell that the commander doesn't quite end the call right then, and you can just hear her yelling at people in the background and a lot of loud commotion. And then you do hear, it's probably too far in the future for anybody to still know what this is, but if you did know what it was, you would describe it as a Wilhelm scream. And you hear what sounds like laser gun fire and things like that, and then the comm line. Yes, exactly. And then the comm line cuts out. So Liara, with a 24, yeah, you bolt out of there, run off into the city. Cry and Mora. I started to call you Moors there for a second. It's Mora. What do you two do? Do you follow?
I will follow Cry because I'm not going there. I won't be able to catch with Liara on these hoppers of her, so I follow Cry. If Cry doesn't move, I won't move either.
Yeah, there's a delay in my movement. I am gonna eventually go chase after Liara, but I wanted to make sure that my other volumes of my books are safe, packaged away with whatever thing I have to carry items, and then I go right. Okay, let's go chase after Liara.
Okay. Give me a quick nimbleness roll to see how dexterous your fingers are, and tying up the volumes, making sure they're secure in your pack and not gonna get bent or fall out.
Okay.
Nice.
29. So they are very
Awesome.
secure. You even managed to put them in like a plastic bag that sort of covers and protects them. It keeps dust out,
beautiful.
keeps them from getting bent and things like that. Keeps them in
Great.
collector's edition shape.
Yeah, because that's my first concern right now.
I'm
Okay,
stepping
cool.
from one foot to another, waiting for him to finish. Impatiently.
I love it. All right. So yeah, give me another nimbleness roll to see how quickly you're able to dash after Liara, who's had a substantial head start. It's 18 and 12. You two lose sight of Liara. You don't know where they've gone. So we'll
That
come
woman
back
and
to
her
you.
gadgets speeding up too fast.
So we'll come back to you two in just a second. Liara, you've made like the Flash and have just disappeared from everybody. And let's see where you end up. Okay. We're gonna address this first. You're gonna end up in a place that probably looks a little familiar to you, Gwen the player.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that there's been some destruction. It looks like almost like a tornado has just ripped through this alley as you duck into it. And you can see a young lady there, and she looks very confused. She's not completely monochrome, but she's lost a lot of color. And you can see that she's
Stasis
basically...
immediately.
All right, give me a second before you react.
Don't fry her so quick.
She's stumbling out of a shadow, and you can tell that it probably fell onto her. But she looks very confused, and you can see that she's not evil. You can tell that she's savable because you've interacted with this enough to know.
Yeah, Liara doesn't care. Stasis.
Okay, you can definitely cast Stasis. As you cast it, give me a discipline check because I'm
Okay.
evil, and I remember things that happened.
Oh yes, because PTSD. That's an 8.
Oof. Oof. You
Yeah.
have a very vibrant,
Nasty flashback.
not quite a
Liara-
flashback. It's not traumatizing, but you do have a very vivid recollection of the fact that you shot first, asked questions later one time before, and
Mhm.
it still haunts your dreams at night, not knowing if that was the right thing to do.
Yes, it does.
So you're able to put this girl in stasis, but then you are also in your own sort of stasis for a little bit.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll
So-
for that, and then we'll give them
Do I
time to
roll
catch up
tech
with you.
engineering or do I roll to hit?
She's not really able to defend herself, so just tech engineering's fine.
Awesome. 26.
26. Okay, she is frozen in place.
And then after she's frozen in place, I'm going to go up and use the light on her
okay, it'll
to
take
heal
you
her.
It'll take you a few minutes to do that because you're gonna basically be standing there going, "Oh crap! Did I do the right thing? What do I do?" And arguing, in your own head, sort of, what's the right thing to do here.
Oh, too
So-
real.
So sorry. So with that, we'll go back to Cry and Mora. You've lost track of Liara. Do you go? So the chapel is to your back. Do you go straight ahead? Do you go off to the left, or do you go off to the right?
I'm the one following, so Cry
Okay.
has to pick the direction.
Yeah, and I look at Mora and I say, I don't know why corporate dispatched me with such a scaredy cat. We're gonna take the right hand path, and yeah.
Okay.
He's right.
All right. So the two of you, as you're running around, it starts to get darker. Looks a bit more like this overhead. It should still be decently sunny. The sun was setting before, and of course you've got those deep dark colors in the sky from that. But it should be brighter than it is right now, and you can see that those clouds are starting to look a lot like the fog and the shadow, and they're starting to sort of wrap around the last bits of light that are shining through. Almost like clawed hands just trying to cover up the entire sky. But the street that you run down, you can see a bunch of people panicking. There's a dozen people. And we'll say that probably 4 of them are children. So you've got 8 adults, 4 children that are sort of just cowering in the street, hands on their heads, and they're kind of cowering in fear. They don't know what to do as you approach. But you don't notice any shadows around.
Okay.
Is there? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so as we were ordered to gather citizens in the safe zone, I'll yell to get their attention.
Okay.
Citizens,
Roll. You can do
come
either.
with us.
You can roll either speech or charm. Speech is trying to, logic them into doing what you want them to do. Charm is trying to get them to do so because they like you. You can do one or the other.
Okay, charm, because I'm a cute cat.
23. Okay.
Yeah.
You notice all of them, especially the kids, start to calm down a little bit. They pay attention to you. And one of the adults who's got, one kid on either arm, so he's holding the hand of 2 different kids, one on the right of him, one on the left of him. And he goes, all right, what do we do? Where do we go?
Head to the chapel. There's a safe zone there.
Right. Okay, come on, kids. And you notice another couple of the adults run up, and you can tell that they used to be part of the city guard, not sentinels, but they're used
Yeah.
to.
I'm telling Cry that we should get all them to the chapel.
So everybody's calm now. Just making sure. Is
Yeah,
that-
everybody's decently calm. The kids are all staring at Mora, so they're not looking at the shadows, the scary shadows in the sky. And there's a couple people that used to be militia for not militia, but part of the guard, not the sentinels. So they're obviously used to taking orders, and they seem to be sort of directing people and sort of taking point on moving this group to the chapel. So you could potentially just let them go on their own, or
Yeah,
you
I
could
think
follow
that's
them
a
and
good
try to
idea.
protect them.
I am going to try to make a. I'm going to use my lightning to kind of create a barrier, kind of like splitting the Red Sea, create an electric barrier that makes a beeline from where the people are to the chapel, so that anything outside of this wall won't be able to interfere, thus protecting them.
So we
Okay.
will be building another small barrier for people to.
Right, but it just goes from point A, which is where the people
Yeah,
are,
exactly.
to the chapel, and soldiers protect them on the sidelines.
Okay, you
I'll help
just
him.
to let you know, you have traveled probably 4 or 5 blocks away from the chapel, so this will be a pretty big barrier
Yes,
in terms
of course,
of power. Go ahead and roll
Right.
Magic Engineering Cry, and then yeah, Mora, you can definitely assist by also rolling Magic Engineering. It will be whatever you roll because you don't have the chapel right there. So that's a 13 or a 16 rather, and then
39.
39.
oh, that was okay.
That-
So
yes, that's me as usual assisting. My
okay.
leader.
Nat
So-
20 39 for assisting.
So Cry, you obviously are super confident in your ability to accomplish this,
Of course, yes.
and so you concentrate and you launch it, and it's basically like 2 lines that you manage to make that go all the way to the chapel. It's kind of like if you had painted lines on the road, but that's about all you actually accomplish. Is that there's basically like running lights over to the the chapel, and then Mora, with your assistance, those lines become walls that then form basically a
Direction
hallway.
is most important.
Yeah,
He did the main job.
but Cry, give me a quick. I'm gonna go with discipline on this to see if you can have the sort of situational awareness to know what's going on.
Okay, because I was gonna say, I'm gonna pretend it's all me.
26. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say you're pretty sure Mora did that.
Okay, I don't vocalize it though, right? I just kind of admit it to myself.
Yeah. If you'd gotten a low roll, you would have been pretty sure that it was all you.
Okay, got it.
But you know Mora did it, but you don't have to admit it.
Got it. Okay.
So, oh, go
I
ahead.
know I did my job with helping him, of course, and I won't question anything here.
Perfect. So yeah, the dozen people head off to the chapel. They make it to the barrier and they're safe. With that, we'll hop back over to Liara.
Okay, so Liara, having the girl in stasis, is going to run up to the girl and use the light to try and heal her.
Okay,
And-
go ahead and roll Magic Engineering.
Also silence the doggy. Okay, Magic Engineering. 29.
29. So yeah, you do a fantastic job. You're able to use your light, and the color slowly starts to come back to this girl. Where do you put your hand? Because you'll have to put your hand on the person. Did you put it on her head or shoulder?
Yeah, her head.
Her head? Okay. So it starts in her face and the rest of her head, and then just slowly kind of trails down the rest of her body until finally her shoes and feet get color back in them. And she
And
looks
then
at you.
I dropped stasis.
Okay. She just looks at you really confused and is like, what just happened?
I've had too many people run from me when I try and help them. So I just default to stasising them.
No.
I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to help. And also, if you would come with me, we've made a safe haven at the chapel.
No, I mean, what just happened? I was walking down this alley and it wasn't broken before, and then you showed up with your hand on my head and everything's destroyed.
Yeah,
all the
yeah, just there is really no time for explanation. It's dangerous. Can you please just come with me?
roll charm. Because again,
Oh
I'm
my
evil.
19.
19. Okay. She's you've got the benefit of having a sentinel uniform on, so she's like, oh, okay. She's still a little wary of you because she's just, as far as she knew, she was walking down the street and then all of a sudden she was in this situation. So she's still a bit wary. Excuse me. But she does follow you. And you're able to get out to sort of the main road. You do know that there is that giant shadow behind you still, so do you send her off to the chapel on her own and stay and fight the shadow, or do you escort her all the way back?
I am going to escort her all the way back, but I would also like to roll tech engineering to see if I can use bionics to pick her up and run.
Sure, go
Would
ahead and roll.
that be a thing that you would allow?
Yeah, that's something that you could potentially do. As I always like to say, you can certainly try.
It's a 23. I don't have a reroll.
You're able to pick her up with your tech engineering, no problem at all. But you run at your normal speed. You're to maintain everything with a 23. You're basically doing a light jog with this girl suspended in the air.
I'm going to roll nimbleness.
No, I mean like that's your max speed while doing this is a light jog. So that's as fast as you can go, but I won't make you roll to reach that. You're still able to run much faster than you could if you were just like, deadlifting her and throwing her over your shoulder. So you're able to make it back to the chapel without really much incident. You do notice there's about a dozen people walking down this light hallway.
I see Krylance or Mora on the way.
You do not, but you see their handiwork. So you see those dozen people running down the hallway. You don't notice where Krylance or Mora are, but you have a good guess that this is probably their handiwork. So you imagine if I follow this, I'll probably find them. And with that, we will hop back over to them. So you two have there we go. You two have rescued a dozen people, including kids. But you still don't know exactly where Liara is. Do you head back? Do you continue down this road? What do you guys do?
Oh, Liara would as soon as they get back to the chapel, they would press the thing and be like, Krylance, Mora, where are you?
So did that happen?
So we're at the chapel now, or are we on the way to the chapel?
So you're still off on that street that went off to the right. You don't know where Liara is. You just saw that the 12 people have left. And then you hear Liara on the comm saying, "Hey, where are you guys?"
We are going eastbound of the direction of where the chapel is. Just trying to investigate more of this area.
We're looking for more people to guide to chapel.
I will be there shortly. Roll tech engineering.
All right.
The
Oh,
rollers.
nat 20.
Nice. So,
So 47 total for tech engineering
So-
to get there.
Cry and Mora, you hear Liara go, "Okay, I'll be right there," and then you blink and she's in front of you,
Right there she is.
or they're in front of you rather.
They.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I keep wanting to call Liara she because it's the same name as
Yes.
what's her name from Mass Effect.
Yeah.
So I apologize. But yeah, that's why. So yes, Liara, they show up right in front of you as you blink your eyes.
What kind of fancy magic was that, or was that one of those plebeian tech gadgets that you got there?
Yes. I am very good with technology.
Oh, well, I'm very good with magic, so take that.
where did you
Yes.
get those?
Yes, you are.
Contraptions. As engineer, I'm curious.
They are of my own design mainly, but also they're based on. Player does not know this. Liara would. Little nanites. Yeah, nanites. That's the word.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
Okay,
So
so
you're all
They're
back
nanite
together?
based. They're nanite based, and they give me a boost when I need them.
so I think we need to search for more citizens around.
okay. So Liara has checked basically we'll call the chapel south. So Liara has checked the north road. You all just checked the east road. You haven't checked the west road yet. So do you go there, or do you investigate any of those other spots further to see if you missed something?
I think we should check the area closest first, not to move around, move too away in one direction.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go head up.
I
Oh,
have to.
Is that a
I have to let the
poster
dog
for...
out. I will be right back. But
Oh,
yes,
no worries.
Okay.
agreed.
So yeah, I agree. We should proceed that way. But is that a poster for Make Out Paradise the movie?
Roll sight. Uh, 16. With a 16, yeah, we'll say it is. You do see a poster for that.
Mara, you go that way. I'm gonna check this out.
Did I notice what? Do I notice what is he doing?
Yeah, I
Roll
mean you can see. Yeah, you don't even have to roll. You can see Cry just immediately go towards this poster on the wall. As he's going, yeah, you check it out. I'll be
Come
right
on.
there.
Come on, it's not time for that. Take.
You don't know what this means to me. I've been waiting for something like this for 17 years. Okay, I have all 37 volumes of this series.
Please,
Now,
please
There's this
focus.
movie.
There are lives at stake here.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I will say for Cry, you do notice that it has a couple of extra things on the poster as you look closer, and you can see it's got information about how they're bringing in the original author, the the actors
Come on!
have been involved in the project since the beginning. You know, really important like fandom type things that would make any fan get super excited.
Is there a way that I can say that I'll meet you guys up there, but I really just kind of either turn
I don't
invisible
think
or
so.
blend in so I can just focus on this poster?
Absolutely. So it would be, I think, probably charm to deceive your comrades that you'll be
that's
right
not my
there,
strong suit.
and then blend
Okay.
in to be sneaky about it. So yeah, if you're gonna try to deceive them into saying, "Yeah, I'll be right there," it's charm. If you want to just disappear, you can do that too without saying anything.
Oh, I did both on accident.
So
But yeah,
which one is which?
So we know that he's lying, but we don't see where he went.
Yeah.
In reality, I'm just in the same spot looking at the damn post.
Well, I was
being. Sorry, go ahead, Ecuador.
I was having my eye on him, so he can just disappear from me. So I guess I don't know. Is it kind of a post roll or something?
You can roll sight to see if you notice him. Okay, so it's a tie. So what that means is you'll both roll your skill again as a tiebreaker. So yeah, Lapis, you'll roll blend in, and Ekanor will roll sight. Also, you're muted, Lapis.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, 1 second. My page refreshed on accident.
Oh, no worries.
What am I rolling here?
Blend in.
Blend in. Okay. So, yeah, Mora, you do notice Cry standing there looking at the poster.
Come on, it will be here when we're done. I think.
We don't know that. We don't know what's about to happen.
Liara is not staying with them.
If the poster won't be here when we're done, the cinema won't be here either.
Liara's gone at this point.
I'm kind of
Looking for
impressed with the
people.
way. I'm kind of impressed with the way that Mora spoke up, and she might try to convince me.
Okay. So do you all go then?
I'm starting to push him, push his thigh because it's more or less what's on my eyesight like.
Yeah.
And I respect that. Yeah.
Okay. So once again, Liara is
We chase them again.
yeah. You don't know where they went. Well, you know where they went, but you can't see them. But you head off in that direction. So Liara, give me a gut feeling roll.
Gut feel. Okay, but I will roll physical dice for this because I only have a +2. I trust this die better than roll 20. That's a nat 20. Plus
Good.
2. So 30,
Very, very good.
32 total.
So you suddenly have this, like, my spidey senses are tingling and get this feeling that you need to basically jump out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So you're able
And
to
I
do
do.
so. And as you turn around and look, you can see the alley that you were about to duck down looks something like this. Which I don't know why Roll20's taking a long time to pull that up. There we go. So, yeah, what happened was there was a giant blob of shadow just dropping out of the sky, and it just smashes into right where you were going to be. And as you look back, all the color's been drained out of the alley, and it looks like a lot of the structures have been damaged, and just a bunch of rubble is taking up the alley, and it's very, to use a D&D term, difficult terrain.
Liara is going to use light.
Okay. I was gonna say you also notice that there are several shadow blobs on the ground, and they seem to be moving a little bit faster than the ones you've previously seen in Echo
Yeah.
City.
Yeah. Light.
Okay. How are you going to use light?
So, Liara, at this point, is getting the hang of this and is just going to fire hand blasts like gun. um,
Okay.
oh yeah,
right.
I'll trust roll 20 this time.
Do an attack roll or second, I guess.
And that's how trust ends.
Okay, so
Okay.
attack roll.
Yes.
Attack roll is. Let's see. Attack
so-
roll would be
Spiritual plus magic weapon training.
spiritual is 2. Magic weapon training is 6, so 8. So 8. Yes, it's a plus 8. So 13 plus 8 is 21.
21. Okay. So the good news is you don't hit anything you didn't intend to hit. The bad news is, let's see, how bad is the bad news? Okay, it's moderately bad.
Never trust roll 20 ever again.
As you go to launch all these different balls of light, you just feel suddenly drained, and you realize that you're overexerting yourself. So you made that big barrier, and you did all these different things, and you basically pull the magical equivalent of a pulled muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And so after the first ball that you shoot out, which misses, the rest of you just basically have little sparks coming out of your hands
So what
as
does
you
this mean
try to launch the rest.
mechanically?
Mechanically, it means the attack obviously doesn't work. And let's say that you're at a minus. What's your current magic engineering score?
12?
12. Okay, I won't be that mean. We'll say that's a -3 to magic engineering for a while.
Okay. I will just put that under bonuses.
Okay.
So bonuses I can actually put a -3.
Yeah, so you do that, the sparks fly out.
It works.
Yeah.
I love it.
And yeah, the shadows seem to be emboldened by that, and they start forming into humanoid shapes much faster. And that is what Cry and Mora walk up on as you catch up. You can see just sparks coming out of Liara's hands as they're obviously trying to cast something, and it's not working. And you see that the shadows have turned into people shapes.
That's something new for Mora again, so again a little scared.
So Liara is running low on quote unquote magical energy, right? She's feeling kind of weak.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looks like to you as you walk up and you see that nothing's coming out when they are trying to launch these attacks.
Yeah, and it looked like she was in the middle of something, so I didn't want to just suddenly interfere. So what I'm going to do, noticing that she's weak, I want to see if maybe I can use some of my light electricity to give her some more energy to help her. Sorry.
Okay, so you're going to try to transfer your light to Liara.
Right.
Okay, go ahead and roll magic engineering.
I'm still learning the pronouns.
No worries. Also, give me a gut feeling check, which we'll say happens before you do the magic thing. Okay, so 26 on the gut feeling. You start to wonder if it's maybe not so much a... sorry. I thought I was going to sneeze. Okay, we're good. You start to wonder if maybe it's not so much a lack of energy as it is overexertion, and you kind of have a split second of thinking maybe giving them more energy would actually be counterproductive. You're not 100% sure, though. Do you still try to do it? Or do you hold off?
Gut feeling?
Well, that was the gut feeling.
Okay. Oh, got it. Gut feeling.
So-
Gut feeling. Yeah, I'm
So
still
that's how I
gonna-
feel about this, but how do I really feel about this?
I'm still gonna go for it because right now Cry feels like that's the only thing he's helpful for.
Okay, so we'll go with that roll then, which was a 13. So you try to transfer energy to Liara, and there's some lightning that comes out of your hand. Liara, it tickles, but you don't feel really much more in the way of energy, which actually turns out to be a good thing.
Liara just turns to Krylat. Thank you. I very much appreciate it.
No worries. It was really just an excuse to kind of hug you from behind.
Aww.
Oh my
Thanks.
gosh. Oh my goodness. As you're having this conversation,
Again.
what was that?
I was muttering something about humans goat you didn't hear.
So as you're having this touching moment, the shadows have formed full humanoid shapes, and you just hear this noise coming from them. And they're approaching. They do not look friendly.
Mm.
What do you
Liara's
do?
gonna try again.
Okay.
And says, "Should I let go now?"
What?
What was that?
I said, Krylant says, "Should I let go now?"
He's actually hugging you.
Oh! Oh! Yeah. Yeah, we need to deal with the stretch. So, yeah. And yeah, let's go. It turns around.
Oh my goodness, that was great. All right, go ahead and we'll do a sort of loose initiative order here. We'll go Gwen, then Cry, then Mora, then the Shadows.
And we're not trusting Roll20. And it's a good thing we're not trusting Roll20. That was an 18 plus 9. So 28.
Okay, a 28. You're attacking.
Magic engineering.
Okay, I think I might have missed something in the in the laughing. What were you doing with your magic again?
So, oh yeah, you said it was plus 9 to hit anyway. So yes, Liara tries again. This time with one hand instead of both.
Okay, so you're doing a single magic attack. What was your attack roll? And then
18 plus 9.
18 plus 9. Okay,
So
gotcha.
28.
28, right. I'm with you now. 28, okay. Let's see if it hits. It does indeed. So go ahead and roll. I think yours is 1d8 plus spiritual for the damage.
Awesome. So that's a D8 plus 2. I'm going to roll this one because it is that color.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's a 5 plus 2, that's 7.
7? Okay, nice. So yeah, that first one takes some damage. You as you shoot it, kind of its arm, or what would be an arm on a person, just gets completely blown off, and then it just slowly regrows, and it goes.
And Liara would like to do a bonus action, or at least try
Okay.
to.
Go ahead and roll to see if you get the bonus action.
I'm going to spend the point, then roll. So that's a 16.
Okay, so you do get the action.
I'm going to stasis it.
Okay.
So I have a plus 15 on stasis. Ooh. I did not mean to do that. That's a nat 20 plus 15.
Nice.
So yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So
Uh,
45 in total.
do you need to roll an attack to make sure you can hit it?
That was 2 hits. Yes.
Was that tech engineering or a tech weapon?
It was tech weapons.
Oh, okay, so that was to hit. Okay, then roll tech engineering now to see how effective the stasis is. You definitely hit it. I'm not even going to roll for defense on that.
Okay. That is 12 plus 17, 29.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty effective. So it's frozen in place for now.
Awesome.
It does not seem to be able to move forward. With that,
And Liara will turn to Krylitz. Yeah, hit that one. And yeah. Thanks.
okay, it's Cry's turn.
Do we know for sure that these humanoid shadows are truly shadows? Because Kry's kind of has this sneaking suspicion that they perhaps might be possessing some civilian bodies. So do we know that for sure, that they're just shadows?
So your companion from out of town might be able to shed some light on that. No pun intended. But
Nice.
but as far as physical observation, they do not appear to have any substance. They don't look like
Okay.
human bodies. That they literally look like a shadow, or almost like if you could combine ink and fog, and then put them into the shape of a person. That's what it looks like.
Okay.
But you do have the ability to talk on your action, so you could ask Liara if they know anything about this.
Well, Liara seemed pretty set in their ways, so I want to try to blend in with the hopes of sneaking up behind an enemy.
Okay, go ahead and roll blend in.
I'm not gonna say anything.
I don't know.
At 12. You, being so confident in your abilities, are pretty sure that you're invisible. You're not at all, but you're pretty sure you are. Do you do anything else? You still have a movement action that you can take, or you could try to use a bonus action to give yourself more things that you can do.
I think I'm just gonna try to attack one of them with my lightning.
Okay.
Are you going to attack the stasis one?
Yes.
So what you'll want to do on your character sheet, I believe it's right below, or it's either below or above your attacks. You should see a section that says bonus action points, and I believe you should have 6 of them. I helped put the character sheet together earlier today, so I actually remember what's on there.
I see it. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
No worries.
Yeah,
So go ahead and spend one of those. Take your current total down to 5, and then roll 1d20. So in roll 20, you can just type /roll 1d20, and it'll roll it. And basically, if it's above a 10, you get the action. If it's below a 10 or 10 itself, you don't.
Damn.
So it's 8. So yeah, you don't get the bonus
You
action,
have a
unfortunately.
reroll.
Do I? Or no?
You do. You do have one reroll that
I'm
you're
gonna go
able
for
to
it.
use at any time. Okay. No.
Oh, ouch.
I will give you my reroll, so you
No,
can.
you don't have to do that. That's okay.
Okay.
I mean, it's up to you. You're GM, so.
I don't mind at all. As the GM, I don't usually use rerolls too much. So yeah, you can take it.
All right, I will.
Oh, you gotta have the slash in front of it.
Ah, got it.
There you go. You got an action.
Yes!
There you go. Sorry about that.
No worries. So yeah, you can make the attack now. So what you'll do is roll 1d20.
If I remember correctly, stasis enemies, you just roll damage.
Yes, actually, that would be correct. So roll 1d8 plus 6. That is true. It can't move. So good catch on that. 13.
Nice.
Okay. So this one just has that blast, hits it dead center, and the lightning kind of arcs out through its body from that spot in the middle, and then it just evaporates and disappears. And so you've defeated that one.
Yes.
There's still a couple
there
more.
Was and there was no human inside.
There was not. It was just that shadow substance. So same stuff that you've been fighting so far. Just
Okay, good.
It seemed to get a lot more intelligent and took an actual form. Mora, it is your turn. There are still a couple more approaching.
So I will be also using my welding light skills and cast arc lightning.
Okay.
But as there are no immobilized targets, I will have to roll for hit.
Correct.
That will be 1d20 and magic weapons.
Yeah, 1d20 plus magic weapon training and your spiritual attribute.
Oh. Spiritual was high. Yes, indeed it was. $23.
23. Awesome. Let's see if that hits. It does. So then you'll roll damage, which should be 1d8 plus your spiritual attribute.
6. 11.
11. Okay. So you hit it pretty hard.
And happy with my result, I'll take a bonus action.
Okay. Go
The
ahead and
wave of
roll for that.
optimism. And optimism is out.
You don't get the bonus action, unfortunately. All right, and it's gonna be the Shadow's turn, unless you want to move or say anything.
Nope. I was just trying to fry it, and that's all I was doing.
Okay, so it'll be the Shadow's turn, and let's see, who are they going to attack? There we go. I'm gonna roll to see which they target. It's 1, 2, 3. So Mora, having just taken the last action, the one that you hit attacks you. So it basically just sort of rushes at you, turns into a cloud, and rushes at you. This will be considered a magic attack. So it will get an advantage if you use Absorb to defend.
I was assumed I will be dodging, as any
Okay.
cat would do.
So this is going to be really tough to avoid. They rolled a 15, so... yeah,
Not
24,
so much.
no problem. So yeah, you dodge, no problem. The other one is going to attack someone. It's going to attack Liara.
Mm-hmm.
And they will attack you with a 26.
Yes, I'm going to roll deflect.
Okay.
29.
Nice. So you're able to use your light to sort of, as it forms into a cloud and rushes at you, to kind of push it out of the way a little bit so it misses you. It zooms right past you. With that, it will be your turn. Now, on your turn, all three of you hear crying and sort of sounds of people in distress coming from just on the other side of all this rubble.
Oh boy. Well, first of all, I'm going to stasis the one that ran at me.
Okay.
Okay, that is. Ooh, wow, that's a 30 to hit.
30 to hit. Okay. Let's see how it does. They did not get anywhere near that, so yes, it does hit. Go ahead and roll for effect.
Awesome. And that is a 29 again for tech engineering.
Yeah, it seems to be frozen in place for now.
Yes, and I'm going to roll for bonus action.
Okay.
Time to burn those points.
That's 18. So I get the bonus action. Okay. I am going to since it's stasis, I don't have to roll to hit. I can just roll damage for my magic attack. So that's D8 plus 2, right?
That is correct.
Yes. So that's 5 damage.
Okay. You do damage it a bit. It seems annoyed as far as a shadow blob can look annoyed. You do hear more noises coming out of it.
And as an extra effect, I would like to mark it so that they know it's stasis.
Yeah, I'll just give you that. It has a particle effect around it.
Yes.
Perfect. And then it will be Krylance's turn.
So there's another one, stasis again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can tell that it's stasis.
Okay.
There's also one that seems to be fighting Mora.
Oh, snap. Yeah, I'm going to jump in and attack that guy with some lightning directly to the core of its being.
All right, go ahead and roll a magic weapon attack.
magic weapon.
So for you, I believe it's 1d20 plus 9. If I remember correctly from earlier today.
Did I do that right?
It seems
Yes.
so.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah, so you do roll an 11. Wow. Okay. Well, let's see what they do. Oh yeah, they rolled a lot higher than that. So unfortunately it does miss. You can try to use another bonus action if you'd like.
No.
Okay. Then we'll pass on to Mora. This thing's still trying to attack you.
I will try to use my light skills to immobilize it. My
Okay.
binding skill. So is that an attack or is that skill?
It'll be both. So you'll start with the attack to see if you actually land it. And then if you
Okay.
do, I'll have you roll magic engineering for the effect.
Okay, so it will be magic weapon.
Mhm.
$19 for hit.
Yeah, you actually do hit it.
Now magic engineering.
Yeah, so you'll spend a bonus action point and then roll magic engineering for the effect.
First roll for bonus action.
No.
No. You just spend
No,
the
that-
point.
Spend the point.
Spend the point for effect. Okay.
Yeah.
So point down and magic engineering.
Bonus action points kind of act as mana for magic effects, if you will.
Okay. Now I understand that line in the manual. 26.
26. Okay. So yeah, you do a pretty good job. You're able to. Would you like to just describe what the effect looks like as you bind this?
I imagined it
shadow?
as I was writing the skills. One for binding things together, non-damaging skill, and one skill for welding things together when they are bind. Like
Okay.
one skill to immobilize pieces I want to join, and the other to join them. So that's the non-damaging one. Light ropes coiling around the object.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, and it is firmly locked in place. With that, it will
And
be. Oh, go
If
ahead.
I can use movement.
Yes, you can still move.
So I would like to increase my distance between the target and me, of course. I'm Scaredy Cat.
Okay. Yeah, you can move up to 50 feet away.
Yeah, I would like to jump under the wall.
Okay.
Have something solid against my back.
Yeah, you're able to jump away and kind of give yourself some cover there.
Okay,
Something
that's
solid against your back. And with that, it'll be the Shadow's turn. So the one that's in stasis is going to do a thing. And it is going to succeed in doing the thing.
Yikes.
So the particle effect is still there, and it's still the shape of what the shadow was a moment ago, but you see it start pouring out as if someone had poked a hole in the bottom of a bucket that had a bunch of ink in it.
I very much remember this.
Yeah, so it just pours out of its encasement. And let's see if it can do anything else. It can indeed. It's going to attack Liara. It's very annoyed at you.
Yeah, I would hope so.
It's those gadgets.
I'll get you next time, Gadget.
His vegan gadgets.
So it's a 25 to attack Liara.
Yeah, I was gonna roll deflect.
Okay.
32.
Dang, okay.
19, nice.
So yeah, you're able to deflect it again. Now the one that was attacking Mora, seeing as Mora has jumped out of the way, and there's this fancy lightning wielder that it can also see. It's going to go after
But it's the
Krylance.
one bound with coils.
You're right. It is bound. Sorry. So it's going to try to break those first. And it is not going to succeed at all. So it'll move on to Liara's turn. Again, you all three do hear more crying, and it's louder, coming from the other side of the rubble, just out of view.
Liara, seeing that this shadow has broken out of stasis like the previous one, is going to try. Let's see. Yeah, there's no point in saving the people that are screaming if there's a threat on the other side. So, yeah, I'm gonna. Liara's gonna just stasis it with magic this time.
Okay.
So that's only a +8 instead of +15.
Okay.
So to hit, and then bonus action, and then the effect.
Okay.
So that's a 3 + 8, 11 to hit.
We've been there.
Yeah, it dodges that quite handily. Basically, you shoot the light at it, and it basically forms into a donut. The light just goes straight through the hole, and it collapses back in on itself. Do you move, talk, or try to bonus action?
Yeah, I was gonna try and bonus action.
All right, spend the point. Roll a d20.
Oh yeah, that's a 19.
Nice, you get the action.
So Liara's going to try that again, but with tech this time.
Okay.
Now, I still don't know how it broke out, but I'm going to try again.
All right.
Oh, that's 16 + 15. That's 31
Nice.
to hit.
Oh, dang. It actually got a 33 to evade.
Yikes!
That one rolled really well.
So, Liara's gonna book it. Like a good 6 squares to wherever around and behind it.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that, no problem.
So yeah, dodge and weave, and yeah, this way.
Okay. Then Krylance, it will be your turn.
I look at my comrades.
Leading it away from the screaming people.
Okay, gotcha.
I look at my comrades. You know, I see Liara running away. I see, Mora. You know, she's still here, but dodging and weaving, right? And I look at them and I say, "Yeah, it looks like they've got it handled. I'm gonna go look for the screaming voices."
Okay, awesome. So you move over to that section so you can look around that rubble. All right, as you do, you don't even have to roll sight for this. You just get it. You can see about 5 people. We'll say probably 3 women, 2 men. Probably like early to mid 20s by the look of it. Maybe they were on their way to a class or something like that. because they do seem to all have like backpacks with them. But you notice they're cowering in the corner as this giant cloud of shadow is basically has them pinned against a wall and is getting ready to envelop them.
Can I use magic to protect us around a dome magic somehow?
Absolutely, you can certainly try. So to do that, it would just be magic engineering if you're doing a dome. So 29, yeah, you do that no problem. Go ahead and spend a bonus action point for the magic, since we are in combat. But you, you basically kind of form this dome that goes around them in the front. So there's some rubble overhead. They're back up against a wall, so it's almost like a semicircle barrier that completely encloses them in. And then the shadow just sort of falls against it, and they're protected for the moment. Do you do anything else? Or I guess for that you'd need to use a bonus action, but you can try.
Can I just talk to the people real quick?
Yeah, that you can do for free.
I'm just letting them know that they're lucky I'm here. My pay wasn't good enough for this mission, so they're lucky that they just so happened to find me here.
Okay. As you do that, one of the girls and it goes, "Wait, is that Crylancer? Oh my God, Crylancer's gonna save us!"
Yeah, damn straight, babe.
All right.
I love Crylance.
Crylance. I don't know why I called him Crylancer. So with that, we'll go to Mora.
The walls and domes we built before with no combat didn't cost us points.
So the only reason it costs a bonus action point right now is because you're in combat. So your bonus action points reset at the end of every encounter.
Okay.
So if you're not in an encounter, you don't have to spend it because it just immediately resets.
Yeah. Okay, so I saw Krylons going there. I was about to do that, so I'll take care of the shadow instead. Since since my binds are still holding, I'll attack with the light welder, the one that was not stasis correctly.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your magic attack then.
Apparently, Cry is rubbing on me. I'm starting to be arrogant too.
In which way?
Oh God.
Oh.
We'll talk after combat.
Well, if I fail this attack, there won't be nothing to talk about because I'll be back to flat ears. Okay, roll to hit.
Mm-hmm. So 12.
Nope, the forgot one plus, so add 14. 26 together.
Oh, okay, awesome.
It didn't add because I missed plus sign.
So yes, that will hit. Go ahead and roll magic engineering to get the effect.
Oh, I thought you were damaging it.
I may have misunderstood. Were you trying to bind the one that got away from the aura?
That was
just
an
hit
attack. Attack with the welding skill, I mean with the lightning, because it's the same thing.
Oh, okay, so you're just trying to damage it.
Yes. The
Okay.
one that moves. So now for hit stack, yes?
Okay. Yeah, so now you'll roll damage.
Okay.
So 1d8 plus your spiritual.
8.
8, cool. So that one's already taken some damage, so it starts to look thinner. Like it's got less inky black stuff in it. You can see through it a little bit more.
So bonus action.
Okay. Nice.
You don't even have to spend the point.
Yeah, so
Yay!
you get the bonus action, and you don't have to spend the point.
And so I roll, rinse, and repeat.
All right.
Once again, lightning.
Nice.
21 this time.
Drop my die. Hold on one sec. Oh, got a nat 20.
So
So that's a 39 to dodge it.
so that will be all.
All right. So it'll be the Shadow's turn. So we've got the one that's bound, and it is very still bound. The one that you just tried to hit a second time. Let's say Mora, your evens, Liara, your odds, and I got a.
I would like it to attack Liara, please.
Well, I rolled a 7, so odds, so it is gonna go after Liara.
Yes.
Did not roll well, so it's gonna attack Liara with a 13.
And I have a 13 in deflect, so on a success.
Perfect. It misses you. Now there is a large blob that was trying to get to the civilians. It can't do that now, so it is focus its attention on Cry, and it's going to try to envelop you.
With love?
Kind of like love, except inky cold death.
Except left first.
What does absorb do?
What's what?
What does absorb do?
So that's like blocking.
Oh, okay. Do I get anything from it since it's absorb?
Absorb gets a bonus if you. Magic gets a bonus if you use absorb.
Yeah, so
okay.
Seeing as these are using exclusively magic attacks, you would not want to use absorb to try to defend against this.
Okay.
Don't
can I-
eat the darkness.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to dodge.
Okay. So they're attacking with a 19. Oof. So that's actually going to hit. All right. So what happens? Everything suddenly goes dark. You basically... it looks like you're on a dark, foggy night with no moon in the sky, and you're in a forest. So everything is pitch black for the most part. But you do notice that your hands are glowing yellow. And that doesn't give you enough ambient light to kind of see a little bit around you, but all you can really see is dark fog. But you can kind of see yourself, and anywhere where you push your hand, you can, make out maybe some shapes or something. If you put it on the floor, you could tell that the ground is there. But it's also really, really cold, and you have a bad feeling about this.
So you're saying that if I touch something, I can then get better awareness of where I'm at? Is that what you were saying with the...
Just your hands are like a low power flashlight, so like if you put your hand down at the ground, you'd be able to see like what's on the ground, but your visibility is very, very short.
I am going to just try to go forward, seeing what I can with my hands like this.
Okay. So we'll swing back around to that. I think that's all that the big blob is going to do. So seeing as that's all the shadows moves, it'll be Liara's turn next.
Mm-hmm. Liara, seeing that this shadow that's been attacking them is almost dead, or almost gone, is going to try once more to hit with their pitiful +8, but I'm gonna try. Good try. That's a 14 + 8 would be 22 to hit.
You hit.
Oh, yes. And I'm going to roll the d8 plus 2. That's 7 damage.
Okay. It's you hit it and it just evaporates and goes away.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
So you do
Okay.
notice that that Cry has been enveloped by a giant shadow blob.
Yes. I'm going to try and bonus action.
Okay.
Try. That's a 5. That's not gonna work. I knew these rolls were coming. This die does not always roll high. Most of the time does.
Alright.
It's not rigged.
So with that, we'll move on to Cry. Lap, is he okay there?
Who me?
Yeah, it looked like you just inhaled something the wrong way.
Oh no. That was like, I don't know. No, I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay.
um.
Just checking.
Yeah. No, that was like half laughing while I was also vaping.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. It's all good. Yeah. Okay. So I'm in this world space. This forest.
Yeah, you were inside the shadow blob, so you don't actually see trees or anything like that. It's just like that's the level of darkness. Is
got it.
foggy night in a dark forest with no moon in the sky.
Right. Okay. Got it. Okay. I'm going to try to create like a 360 blast to try to push this away from me in all directions.
Okay. Go ahead and roll magic engineering. You literally cannot miss because you are inside of it. The 19.
Oof.
You try, and you basically create like a little bubble where there's not inky blackness around you. So your own glowing hands kind of illuminate that little bubble completely. You can see the ground, but you can't see past that bubble. And as you look down, you can see that your skin, your clothing, everything seems to be a little bit faded out, like the colors being bleached out of it a little bit.
I beg for help.
Okay. Do you do anything else? Or
I
just
mean,
Can bonus action or try to?
you can try to move. You can try to bonus action.
Okay. I am going to attempt to move downward.
Well, downward is just the ground.
Okay, I thought there was an opening there.
No.
Yeah. I can't really move anywhere, can I? So I mean.
Yeah. Anywhere you move is going to be going back into the shadow, which
Okay.
you can do. You don't have to do anything. It's just more of a. Do you want to try anything else before we pass turn?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So Mora, you hear Cry going, "Help! Help!" from inside the shadow.
And she remembers all those times I talked crap about her technology.
So it was Liara, not Mora. So with Mora, you're still in good graces.
Right. Sorry.
So as I heard him crying, and as the one shadow on the outside of the building is still bound, so I'll jump to see what was going on behind the rubble.
Okay.
So first movement.
Yeah, you're able to move around the shadow blob engulfing Cry, and you see Cry's light barrier protecting these 5 20 somethings.
So I see through shadows and see his bubble, and I see the bubble holding people.
Yeah, you can see. You can kind of get around the shadow blob to see, kind of around it, and you see that they're still protected.
So I'll try to join his bubble with kind of tunnel we built earlier in the street to
Okay.
safeguard people. Create
Um,
opening through the shadow.
Okay. Go ahead and roll magic engineering then.
35.
Yeah, you accomplish that no problem whatsoever. So yeah, you connect the bubble with the hallway, and Cry, you see a clear way to get out.
I'm gonna bolt the hell out of there.
All right. Mora, do you want to try a bonus action or do anything else, or you good to?
I think I'm at the point where it will be wise to conserve bonus points.
Okay.
Used more than half of them. So
that'll
my
be
turn is over.
Okay. That'll be the Shadow's turn then. The one that's bound evaporates as it's been basically wrapped up in light for a while, and I haven't mentioned it, but it's been slowly taking damage. So it dissipates, and the one that you just basically bore a tunnel into seems very irritated, and it kind of slithers off, for lack of a better verb. And you're actually now out of combat, and you're able to get the kids to safety if you'd like.
That was eventful.
And on that note, I need to AFK for just a quick minute. I'll be right back. I'm going to put us on the BRB screen, but please feel free to talk amongst yourselves about what you think is going on. So I'll leave the mics on, but we'll go to the be right back screen. So yeah, I'll be right back.
Oh wow, that was something.
Yeah, I created this character so she would be able to do things, but she will not always be doing them because she will waste too much time being scared. But
Yeah.
as if die help, things get done apparently. With
Yeah.
some good luck.
Still, yes. Liara is just tired of not being useful at all. So they decided, hey, I'm going to train in this light, which I've ignored forever because I didn't believe in it. And yeah, because that seems to be the only thing, and they've seen it be effective. So they're like, okay, I will start believing in this for now. So that's where they're at.
Man, it's not a good day for Cry. Usually he can back up his smart mouth, but not today.
The dice are.
No, but he is very charming.
That's funny because my charm is -3.
Exactly.
Anti-charm.
Miara's weird in that they find that charming.
Krylance also feels bad that he's been calling them she this whole time.
Yeah.
My mistake.
Yeah, I've been a bit picturing them as Liarazzoni from Mass Effect because it's Arcarian the race here.
Yeah. Arcarian, yes.
The,
It's more tiefling than Liara Cioni.
that was not described very precisely.
Yeah. It's basically like they have a tail and they're scaly like tieflings, but they don't have horns. And they have Liara wears a suit and tie, but instead of the suit jacket, it's a lab coat.
But what's the skin color?
Pink.
Oh, so that's not.
Okay.
So that's exactly opposite
Mm-hmm.
from Mass Effect character.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, Liara wears suit, tie, and spats. But with a lab coat instead of the suit jacket.
and I'm just humanoid cat in one-piece mechanic overalls.
But the suit pants have a hole for the tail.
Yeah, I guess I hadn't really described my appearance, huh?
No one has.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's part of it, huh?
We're just
I'm back.
beating up cops on the patrol.
Mhm.
All I know is that I have a red bandana.
Okay.
Not bandana, headband, sorry. With like long threads, or whatever that's called. Laces, tails, whatever.
Does it have like a picture of a leaf on it by chance?
Nope, no. Just a red headband.
Oh, just checking.
We've established the skin colors. I was picturing Liara all the time as blue
Blue.
Mhm.
by the force, and they are pink, so exactly opposite.
Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah. Suit, tie, spats, but lab coat instead of the jacket.
Okay. So yeah, you handle that combat pretty well. Cry, you're still a little washed out. Like all the color on you is still a little washed out. You feel a little weird, but you're otherwise okay.
We noticed
Liara
the
will
color
run
thing?
over to Cry and try and use light magic to
Okay.
heal Cry.
because you know what that means. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like
What?
immediately. And be like, are you okay? So that's magic engineering. Do I still have the -3?
Nah, it's fine now.
Okay. That's 9 plus 12, 21.
21. Yeah, you do a good job, and Cry, you can you feel better, and you see all the color come back to you.
I'm better now. That was in continuation to what Yara was saying about feel better, and I was like, I'm better now.
Yeah, Liara just.
Perfect. So with that, you're able to get back to the chapel without much incident. I assume you have the 5 civilians, like probably what, behind you, following close behind.
Between us,
Between. Okay. Who takes point then?
Liara will roll tech engineering to move fast and direct them like they'll be running back and forth directing using their
Okay.
movement
So
in
you're
an
gonna
efficient way.
act sort of as a scout.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is a 2 plus 17. That's 19 for tech engineering.
You're running out of juice a little bit, so you're not running quite as fast as you were, but you're still able to do a decent job. You can run up ahead, scout around, run back, but you can tell that, you know, you could use a recharge.
I've used all of my energy
nanite
so
things?
far.
All right, so you'll probably be the first to see this next thing that's going to happen. But who's next in line?
I will be sticking close to the people, herding them.
Okay. So you're bringing up the rear, pushing them forward.
Exactly.
Okay. So it'll be Liara, then Cry, then Mora that'll see this. So as you approach the chapel, you can see that a lot more people have joined, and there's other sentinels inside, and they seem to be holding up the barrier. As you get a little closer, you also see there are a number of those shadowy figures that are basically ramming against the barrier and being bounced off. Everybody give me a quick sight roll to see
Awesome.
if you notice anything else.
And roll 20, please. Nope.
Let me drag this back to here as well.
Did
Let me
I
just
roll
roll the
this?
die to see what I
Oh,
would have
I've got-
rolled
I think
if
I've
I
got
didn't
this.
trust roll 20.
What did you say?
That's much better. But yes, I rolled 15.
Oh, okay, that was my sight roll. The 15 one.
Okay. So, Mora's 15, so you don't notice anything else. Liara doesn't notice anything else. Cry, as you approach, you do notice one thing that looked a little odd. You see plenty of civilians inside the chapel and inside the barrier, but you notice a lot, like several more of them, probably a good dozen, maybe even 24, that can't seem to pass through the barrier, and they look like they stepped out of one of those ancient monochrome movies that you've seen once or twice.
It definitely seems like to me that they're tainted with something, whatever we were fighting, so I want to try to cleanse them.
Okay. Go ahead and roll magic engineering.
I feel like all my rolls have been magic engineering, because that's all I do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in this session.
That's alright.
27. Okay.
Can I assist?
No, because you haven't seen what's going on.
Oh.
So with the 27, yeah, you're able to hit one of them that's kind of more in your direct path, so they're a little bit closer. And you see them kind of recoil, and they contort in these weird shapes and scream, and fall over onto the ground, and this black tar type substance kind of pours out of their mouth onto the ground. You're pretty sure they're dead.
Oh, shit.
A few seconds later, a shadow figure comes out of that black tar stuff and starts hitting the barrier. Liara and Mora, you do see the shadow figure show up, and you realize what just happened.
Liara will roll tech engineering to get in the barrier and start, and then roll magic engineering to start reinforcing it.
Okay, go ahead and do the tech first.
Awesome. That's a 34.
Yeah, you blaze ahead. You Barry Allen it, as it were, and get inside.
And then for magic engineering, to make sure that this shadow does not get inside, that is a 24.
Okay, so you're reinforcing the barrier, basically?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you join the other sentinels that are holding this barrier up, and we'll move on to Cry and Mora. As the Liara rushes ahead, it seems to get the attention of some of those people that are all black and white, and they turn around to look at where Liara came from, and they notice you. And it's like something out of a zombie movie. They just go, ah, and point at you. And you can see that now that their eyes are completely black. What do you do?
Did the people we were scouting get through the barrier? Are we alone
No.
or with the citizens?
They are still between you and Cry.
Okay. So we need to make way, I guess.
I think I just want to kill him.
All right. How do you want to do that? We are going to wrap up. So if you want to do big stuff, I will be very generous with the big stuff.
I'm going to electrify the ground and hopefully shock them all and kill him fatally.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Roll magic engineering for that one. 2.
Oh no.
I'm gonna be generous, but not that generous.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, you try to send electricity through the ground, and then you remember, oh, electricity doesn't go through ground.
Oh yeah.
So it doesn't work. Mora, what do you do?
So, first 2 times I was successful. I will try it third time. This time it won't be tunnel. We just need one wall of it between on the side where the shadowy people are. I don't need to make entire tunnel to make way to the barrier. Just the one side that will shoot citizens from shadows.
They are coming in like a wall towards you, so they're kind of side by side. So you might need to make 2 walls, but you wouldn't need to make like a full tunnel with a roof, just enough to kind of push them out of the way.
Okay, so I'll try make the plow.
Perfect.
I love it so much.
That will be magic engineering.
It will.
Okay, that roll will count. More or less.
27 is still plenty good enough. You are able to do so. The plow just sort of shoves those people out of the way. You do notice a couple of them like contort onto their onto all fours, but with their back to the ground. So they're like walking on their palms and their feet on all fours, and they look really creepy and spooky. But they're not able to get through the walls, and you're able to rush everybody inside the barrier and make it safely to the chapel. As you all get in there, you can kind of look out over the rest of the city that you can see from your vantage point, and you notice that there's a giant pillar of light sort of shooting up out of the chapel, and you notice a couple more spots like that in the city. You can't tell what buildings they are or anything like that. You just see the pillars of light in the sky, and you're able to surmise that there's obviously a couple other groups that are, defending these spots. But a few moments after you get into the barrier around the chapel, and you notice these pillars of light, you see more and more shadow just pouring into the city, and you're able to tell that you're basically in these little bubbles of protection, and you're completely surrounded. And what happened in Kara City and in New Berlin is essentially happening here. But unlike in those 2 cities, you have these sort of bastions of protection, which seem to be coming out of this unknown power. You're able to radio out and connect to the survivors, thanks to Liara's actions before this session, where they have set up transmitters between the command posts. So you're able to contact the survivors. What do you tell them? We'll go in order. Liara, what do you tell the survivors in the mines?
So today has been a great day. We have saved many lives, and we have fought off the shadows, and I will be the one to shepherd all of the ones that we have saved to your location.
Okay. Do you give any details on how you'll do that?
Yes. Yes. For we will I will blaze the path that the rest of the Sentinels will follow in this town. This town may be lost, but we will not give up. We will keep fighting.
All
And we
right.
will and we will fight back the darkness with our light.
All right. Cry. You're able to talk to the survivors who've been patched in. You know, there's a collection now of survivors that have formed a sort of new settlement in the old abandoned mines on the planet. And you are able to hear some static, and all of a sudden you hear patched in those other couple locations around the city where they're going, did anybody make it? And there's some conversation back and forth, and you realize that there's an actual large number of survivors in the city. They're just stuck in these bubbles. What do you say to the other survivors in Echo City, and then to the survivors in the mines?
This is Krylance. You do not have to worry, because this is Krylance. And some of you may know Krylancello. That's okay. I am here. That's all. And that should be enough.
All right. As you finish up, one of those young ladies that you rescued comes up and is kind of hanging on your arm and basically going like, "My hero."
I look at her, look at Liara, look back at her, and go, all right.
All right. Mora. You've heard all of this. What do you say to everyone?
Even Krylance can't break my surprisingly good mood, because for Mora, as a builder of things and as a believer in law and order, it all resonates perfectly, because walls of light we build today are holding. They are of light, they are of law, they are of order, they are of structure. These walls today held, and all the walls we will build in the future will hold too. We will build tunnels of light to join these bubbles, and we'll bring everyone to safety and rebuild a terrain of law, order, and light.
Okay. You hear some cheers coming over the comms at that. You seem to have inspired a lot of people and given a lot of hope. So with that, that's pretty much where we're going to end. One last thing before it does close out. The camera pans over to the cinema, and we see a poster on the wall, and it slowly, all the color fades out of it, and it becomes illegible. And we can see Krylance able to see this happening from the door of the chapel. Does Krylance give any reaction?
Does that make out Paradise 17? I don't know.
That's fine. All right. So with that, we will close there. We'll pick this back up next Friday for the last and final part of the miniseries, and we might find out what happens to the survivors in Echo City. But yeah, thank you all for playing. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Michael, for that donation of $2, getting the reroll for Gwen, and yeah, we'll wrap up here. So we'll go opposite order this time. We'll start with Lapis. What was your favorite part, and then where can we find you next?
Oh, my favorite part. Probably when Me and Mora combined our powers to create like that Moses wall of lightning. That was pretty dope. That was pretty dope.
That was pretty cool.
And you can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Lapis Labs on both places. And yeah, that's it.
Fantastic. And then Ekanor, what was your favorite? What was your favorite part, and where can we find you next?
Well, my favorite part was like the quarterly side of Mora, very nicely composed with Krylan's arrogance. So essentially, well, he believes things will go alright, so I can believe them too. And Mora was going ahead, or was going along with everything just fine.
I love it.
And that part with the wall was one of example of such things.
Awesome. And then where can we find you next?
Well, I don't know yet. I suppose I will try to play with you all again next week.
Awesome. Well, then we'll probably be seeing more again then.
Well, I hope so. I can't tell today if I will be able to make this Friday, but I will try, and that will where I probably will be on Twitch next. So
Perfect.
see you next week. Thank you. And
Perfect. Well, thank you again. And then Gwen, what was your favorite part, and where can we find you next?
I have two favorite parts.
Okay.
First was rolling a 52.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Awesome. I loved it. Second was the awkward moment between Liara and Krylance. The hug. Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
I think that might have to be the raid cry too. I just wanted to hug you from behind.
I just want to what? Oh.
Hug you from behind. I think that was the quote, right?
Yeah.
I think so, something like that. Yeah.
I'll type that out into chat here. We are gonna go on a raid here in just a second. Oh, Gwen, where can we find you next?
You can find me next tomorrow on Badlands.
Perfect. And yeah, that is where you can also find me next as well. I will be jamming the next episode of Badlands before the Fracture. That'll be tomorrow, same time as tonight, so 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Should be starting right around there. Our party there has managed to get themselves into quite a predicament, so it'll be interesting to see how they get out of that. And then as for everything else, you can follow all of us on Twitter by going to the names right below our faces. I do all sorts of posts about updates to shows on the channel, schedule changes, new additions, all kinds of stuff. I also have some tweets up right now for casting calls. So if you do want to be in a show, a full-length campaign for Season 3, which starts in January, I do have a form that you can fill out, and you can apply to get onto one of those shows. We do have some pretty cool stuff happening. The Lightbringer campaign, so it'll be the sequel to this miniseries, is going to be happening in January, and that's set either 200 or 300 years in the future from these events, so long after the cities have fallen. So that's going to happen. That's going to be Mondays. Tuesdays we're doing Hunters of Calamity, which is a very Borderlands-inspired setting. There are still openings for that one. Wednesdays.
I'm really excited for that one.
Wednesdays is another show that's Rowan is jamming. She's actually been doing the casting for that herself. And then, let's see, Fridays are our one-shot days. That's going forward. So if you do want to be in a one-shot, or if you want to GM a one-shot, that'll be every Friday as community games. And then Saturday will be Season 3 of Badlands, which is going to be titled Legends of the Badlands. And there actually is 1 or 2 spots open for that. We're going to expand the cast on that one. So yeah, lots of stuff that you can sign up for. Definitely feel free to sign up for the one-shots as well. And again, those links are all on Twitter.
I just realized the 6th I will be at PAX U.
Oh, okay. We'll figure that out. in a bit. But for now, we're going to go raid Scraticus. Scraticus is currently playing the Outer Worlds, so if you're not already following Scrat, definitely give them a follow.
Yes. What are you doing if you're not following Strat?
Right. But yeah, they're fantastic. They usually do tabletops, but occasionally they play video games, which they're doing now. Yeah, so definitely give them a follow. And again, our raid cry in chat there. Feel free to copy and then paste that into chat as we go. Is I just wanted to hug you from behind. And let me just get this typed in here.
Thank you so much for having me. This was my first ever tabletop RPG. It was very, very fun, and thank you so much.
It was a pleasure having you on the channel. So I'm gonna pop us over to the rating screen. Bye, everybody. And we're rating in 3, 2, 1.